Today, we are digging into a problem that, let's be honest, pretty much all of us struggle with. And the solution we're going to talk about, well, it's brutally effective. But it's probably not the one you want to hear.
All right, let's kick things off with a feeling we all know way too well. It's that powerful, almost unfair resistance that pops up the second we try to do something important.
It's a really strange paradox, isn't it? You know exactly what you need to do to get ahead in life. Write that paper, finally do your taxes, study for that big exam. You want nothing more than to just be the kind of person who enjoys doing this stuff. So why does it feel like you're fighting a tidal wave just to get started? And that's really the heart of the matter. This quote just nails the frustration perfectly. The issue isn't that you don't have the information, it's that you can't summon the will. It's this powerful feeling of resistance that only seems to appear when you're trying to do things that are genuinely good for you. It really feels like the whole system is rigged against you.
So how do we usually try to fight this? Well, most of the common strategies completely miss the mark. And it's because they just don't get the real escape hatch our brain is using to dodge all that difficult work.
Yeah, we try all these little tips and tricks we find online, right? Set a timer for 5 minutes. Just think more positively. Just try harder. And look, maybe they work once in a blue moon, but they're flimsy. They're basically throwaway strategies because they don't get to the root cause of the problem. And here it is. This slide shows the true enemy, the back door. You see, for every tough task you have to do, your brain knows there's an easy, way more entertaining alternative just a click away. These backdoors are neurologically irresistible. They give you a quick hit of dopamine with almost zero effort. So honestly, why would you ever choose to write a boring essay when Instagram and YouTube are right there, basically screaming your name with instant gratification? Okay, so this brings us to the real solution. And like I said at the start, it's not sexy, it's definitely not flattering, and we really don't want to believe this is the answer. But there is one strategy that works every single time. The solution is boredom. It's kind of ironic because boredom is also the problem, right? You don't want to do the work because it feels boring. But the cure is to force yourself into a state of even greater boredom. This isn't some gentle nudge. This is the nuclear option. If you do this, you will get the work done. You'll literally have no other choice. Now, you're probably thinking, I can just do nothing. I'll just sit there. But the thing is, you won't. And there's some fascinating psychological proof that explains why your brain is hardwired to choose almost anything, even physical pain, over true mind-numbing boredom. This all comes down to a core principle: relative perception. See, our brains don't see things in absolute terms. Everything is relative. Just think about walking into a dim room after being out in the bright sun. It feels incredibly dark, right? The room isn't objectively dark, but compared to the sun, it is. Well, the exact same principle applies to what we find entertaining. And to really get how deep our hatred for boredom goes, we've got to look at this wild study from 2014. It was published in the journal Science, and what it uncovered about human nature is, well, it's pretty astonishing. The setup for this experiment was deviously simple. They had people sit alone in an empty room, nothing to do, just them and their own thoughts. But they were given one other option: a button they could press to give themselves an electric shock. The results were just stunning. A staggering 67% of men and 25% of women chose to electrocute themselves rather than just sit there in silence. And get this, some of them shocked themselves multiple times. This proves how much our brains absolutely despise being understimulated. We will literally choose physical pain over boredom. So, the big question is, how do we use this? How can we actually weaponize our brain's hatred of boredom to our own advantage? Well, it is all about engineering your environment. Let's break down how this becomes a practical plan. The person behind our source material shares this really powerful story about this. During one of the most productive times of his life, he was totally broke, living in this bare-bones basement with zero distractions. He was so incredibly bored that his work, which was editing videos on an upside-down laundry hamper, became the most entertaining thing in his life. His environment literally forced him to focus. So here it is, your 3-step plan. First, you have to identify your easy escape routes: your phone, social media, your gaming console, you know the drill. Second, and this is the absolute key, you have to eliminate them completely. I don't mean just minimize the tab. I mean turn off your phone and put it in another room. Finally, just sit there with your one and only option: your work.
When doing nothing is the only alternative, your work will suddenly start to look a whole lot more appealing.
Now, I know what you might be thinking. This sounds like you're setting yourself up for a miserable, less entertaining life. But that is a complete misunderstanding of what the end goal is here. This is all about finding a much deeper kind of reward.
Let's just be crystal clear. The goal here isn't to strip all the joy from your life or to go live like a monk. No way. It's actually the exact opposite. See, it's about recalibrating your brain. By closing all those back doors to cheap, easy distractions, you force your mind to find the interest and, yes, the entertainment in the challenging work that actually matters. You start to find genuine fulfillment in the things that empower you, and that is a far more lasting reward than one more doom scroll through your social media feed. So, I'll leave you with this question. Just take a look at your environment, at your habits, your digital life. What is the one biggest back door that you can shut and lock right now, so you can finally start making a real progress on what truly matters to you?